Okay, wow. So now I actually have a little bit more time. Hopefully it doesn't take, it's going to have like 36 more minutes, but hopefully it doesn't take 36 minutes to explain these two last predictors of divorce and relationship breakup. Okay, so the last two are defensiveness and stonewalling. Defensiveness is something that you probably can kind of translate for yourself. It's kind of self explanatory in a way where all you see is a person feeling the need to put up basically, because what is defensiveness? Defensiveness is a need to feel that you have to protect yourself, right? Because you feel like someone is trying to harm you, someone is threatening your safety, so you feel the need to put your guard up in a sense. That's what John Gottman is referring to when he's talking about defensiveness and it being a predictor of relationship breakup. And you see this a lot in couples who argue. I think that's the reason why the argument happens in the first place, because somehow something that is said is misinterpreted somehow or taken out of context. The other person feels threatened by what is said, or is it makes the other person feel a certain kind of way on the inside, which in turn leads them to feel defensiveness and to feel defensive about what, make themselves feel defensive about what was said, when initially they should not feel a need to defend themselves, and they are not under attack, and their life or safety is not being threatened. Their ego might be threatened, but not their life or not their safety. But they feel the need to, put their guard up. And I think that obviously it's a predictor of relationship breakup, because it's the opposite of what should be in a relationship. You should feel safe, right? Like relationships should be like a safety net. You should feel like I have this person and I trust this person. They make me feel comfortable to share anything that I might be going through, anything that I might be experiencing. So that's, I mean, initially, like, that's what relationships are supposed to be about. But when it comes to a point where people feel the need to defend themselves all the time and to argue, when communication shouldn't be about, you defending. Why you feel the need to defend yourself? Like, this isn't a debate. It shouldn't be a debate. It should be about, if I'm expressing something, that I feel in regards to something that you did in a relationship. If one person in the relationship is expressing something towards the other person, like, the initial response should not be defensiveness. The initial response, if a person really cares, should be in the vein of caring, should be in that same, tone, that you are really trying to understand and hear where that person is coming from, because just maybe that person does have a legitimate concern about maybe something that you did that offended them, and for you to feel the need to defend why you offended them creates a whole nother problem. And it's like, no wonder this is a predictor of divorce, because if a partner, just think of the scenario, if a partner is coming, let's say it's a woman, because I'm a woman, but it says a woman goes to her significant other and says, I don't feel like, you do enough for me. I don't feel like you take care of me. And I don't feel like you're meeting my expectations. And immediately, the other partner, whether it's a male or another female, says, what are you talking about? I do this. Like, I bought you this. I did this for you. I did that, this, that, and the other. And just becomes so defensive to the point where that person's concern, towards their partner is never addressed. So they walk away still feeling like they're not cared for. The person doesn't do enough for them. And it just becomes this whole entire cycle of criticizing, blaming, and this tension, it just stays there. It's like it sits in the atmosphere. It's like a cloud of tension just kind of hovering over that person, because when they go to that person and tell them, you did this to me, this is how it made me feel. I think the best example would be in the case of cheating. If a person cheated, that's like the ultimate betrayal. But cheating doesn't always have to be with someone else, like sleeping around or infidelity, like sexual cheating. It could be, a person could just cheat because they're not committed to the relationship. When you get in a relationship with a person, there is an understanding, there's a certain level of commitment to each other, that you're going to be there for each other. And when that understanding or commitment is broken in a relationship, it feels like it feels the same way, like you were betrayed, like you were not there for me. I called you and you were not there for me. And it feels like a person cheated in a way. It's like you might as well had been with someone else, because the same feeling is there. Like you feel so let down and so betrayed. And so if a person, let's say you're that person who feels that way, and you go to your partner and you tell your partner, this is how I feel, and their reaction is defensiveness, that is not going to solve anything. I think when a concern is raised in a relationship and it's a legitimate concern, it should be addressed. I mean, I say this to women and men, but especially to men. It's so important to hear what your woman is saying.